I'll show first. All of you, well, most of them have a guide right here on the end, have a little metal guide. But what you may or may not know, which I didn't know, there are little guide markings on the side of the foot and here at this little corner. I didn't know what they meant. Well, I found a cute little tutorial on the internet that tells me this guide right here, as you're sewing, and you want to sew to the edge of your fabric and make a 1/4 inch turn, you are going to just put your fabric in there. Let's get started. Okay. And you're going to sew to the edge, and when your edge gets to that marking that's at that corner, you know you're at a 1/4 inch from your edge of your fabric. So you can turn and go again. I didn't know that either. And again, I'm going to stop when it gets to that mark and turn. It's the one that's kind of in the corner. If I go a little too far, I can take a little back stitch and go again, and it marks up exactly with my metal guide. It's right here in there. See it? So when that edge gets to the edge, I can turn, and it's back at my 1/4 inch. Okay. Now you also, when you want to just keep going like in a circle, you can put the guide at your previous stitching, and it's a 1/4 inch away from your previous stitching. And when my seam gets to that guide, I can turn, and I'm a 1/4 inch away. When we did our pot holders, this would have been great.
Yeah.
Okay, so I did that with this one. I didn't go all the way, but we went some of the way. And I have perfect 1/4 inch squares all the way around using my guide. Now on the side of your foot also, there are four little guides right here, and they are exactly 1/8 inch. So 2 of those would be another 1/4 inch. So if you wanted to start a 1/4 inch from your fabric, you would go down to 2 of those notches, and you're a 1/4 inch away. So y'all didn't know that either? I was pretty amazed. I'm like, how did I not know that?
So looking at the foot, it would be on the left-hand side of the outside of the sewing machine.
Looking at the foot, it's on the left-hand side. These are 1/8 inch apart. This one measures up with the center point of your needle. So to put the edge of your fabric here, your needle is going to fall a 1/4 inch from the edge.
I'll ask you a question.
Such as here.
Where did you stop it where?
At this one.
That's where you
The mark that's here.
that one right there.
The edge, you'll come down until this mark is at the edge of your fabric. Lift it up, turn. Now another quick little thing that I've just saw this morning, that I came in this morning and did, is I took a piece of sew-and wash stabilizer, and I took and made a grid of 1/4 inch. So I just used my 1/4 inch foot and made grids this way and seams going this way. And then you can take any of your decorative stitches that are in your machine, flowers or whatever. I used 2 different ones, and then I would, on that, you do have to switch back to your other foot, because this is a center stitch foot only. Remember that. On your general foot, though, there are 3 markings here: left needle position, center needle position, and right needle position. Keep the 2 seams from your grid on the 2 outsides, so you know that your seams, your decorative stitches, are falling right in the center of that. So then you would just stitch in that grid keeping those two notches. Your seams will be lined up with those two notches, and your decorative stitch will go right in the middle. And you would just stitch any color, any thread, doesn't really matter. So you would just keep stitching. Once you have stitched on all of those and you have them going all the way across, you can take it and go to use your water and take that away, the sew and wash away, and you have made a decorative stitch lace. And I put a scallop trim on the edge and have a little piece of lace. Now I could use this in an applique or any kind of insertion, multiple uses. But I thought that was really neat, and you get to use your decorative stitches that you never use. So that's that. Mini piping foot. I know y'all have all just needed cording at some time and didn't have any. Gotta open one. But I had a little bit of mini piping that I took the fabric away from because I didn't have any piping, so I had to make my own.
So that's a
little
clear
piece. This
plastic.
is a clear mini piping foot is what it is. And I'm going to just slip it underneath. There's a little groove on the bottom of this foot. And I'm going to use a zigzag stitch. And I am going to switch my thread color to a golden yellow. And I'm going to turn my stitch length down just a little bit, probably to like 0.6, so that it makes a little more of a satin stitch. And I have a little loop of piping behind the foot. Got to be a zigzag stitch. Turn my length down. And what it's doing is zigzagging over that cording. And at first you can do it kind of wide. It doesn't have to be real satin stitched at first. But then I would send it through again and again until it's covered up. Doesn't take real long. Turn your stitch length down each time. And I've doubled it over so that it would be a little bit thicker.
What do you use it for?
I'll show you. It's for cording. And once you put a couple of layers of that on there, then you can go back and change your thread to a metallic thread. Which everybody loves, right? You love your metallic thread?
What needle do you use?
I just have a 14.
Oh, do you?
I always had trouble with metallic.
Everybody does.
I know.
That's why I said this metallic thread that everybody loves. But I used this Madeira yesterday and I didn't have any trouble with it.
Wow. That's encouraging.
Yeah, that was yesterday. Today is not going through. But, okay. And then I would go back over that piece. And you get this.
So what would you use that for?
Yes.
Just braid on something?
Right, right.
Wow.
You could put a piece of wire in the center and make it wired. Wired gold cording for gifts, presents, and things like that. But you could use it like I did this tree with the wedge ruler on an applique. On it, even if you put it as a quilt block.
Oh, you can make it a
and just make it as garland or gold cording. Using the mini piping foot. And I didn't have any trouble sewing it at all yesterday. I mean, it didn't break my thread. It just did really good. I was impressed. I was impressed.
Yeah.
So, have you used another brand?
I don't know what brand that
Well, I have, and I think it was sulky or something, and it didn't work.
Yeah. Well, this is a Madeira metallic. And I didn't have any trouble. I did this whole piece yesterday because I was like, that's really cool.
Is your bobbin
And you can, it's pulled because you turned your stitch length, it pulls it tight. But yeah, they have it like looped around places and, you know, put it on your shirts and all. On the decorative lace, I didn't get one done, but I saw it and I wanted to show it because it was really, really cute. They used the flower stitch foot and made just circles. And did the water-soluble stabilizer.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that neat? And then when you wash it away, and you'll do the circles separately, and then you draw lines, and you cut the circles out with the water-soluble still behind it, and you have the grid, so then you would do the stitching up and across and down, and then let it wash away, and it turns out like this.
Wow.
Isn't that really cool? Does that make sense? So you'll have, first you'll do the circles with the flower foot.